Welcome to The Price of Freedom, a Star Wars fan film. Meet the Team series. It's time for part 2 of our VFX team. Now, I'm going to introduce Steve in a second, but I've never actually said his full name. It's Steve Boden. He's on IMDb. He's a very talented compositor and a great addition to our team. I really hope you enjoy getting to know him as much as I did. Stay tuned for part 3, 4, 5. There's lots to go through on this one. While you watch that, I'm going to play with this lightsaber. This is Bale and Skull's lightsaber we're going to use in the film itself. And you can get one of these or any of your favorite Jedi or Sith sabers from Theory Sabers. Use the discount code tpof to get 10% off. And as always, like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, TikTok, all the socials. We could really use your support. This film is by the fans, for the fans. And now, let's meet Steve. So this project, we really try to help people new to the industry, like get their start, or people that really want to break through and make a name for themselves, myself included. But we realised very quickly that we need some aspects of this project, need someone that does have experience and does have that extra oomph to their career to really help guide us along our journey. And on that note, we met a fella called Steve, who has decided to come along and help us steer the ship with VFX, and he's helped us with the whole story in general, to be honest. So I'd like to introduce to you Steve. Hi, Steve.
Hello. How are you all doing?
Well, thank you very much for joining us today. It's really nice to have you here. Could I just ask then, if you could just tell us the teeniest bit about yourself, what you do, and then we'll dive into the project a bit.
Well, I've kind of been working in the VFX industry now for 8 years, semi-professionally, professionally, however you'd like to call it. But I branched in really through editorial and learning kind of how VFX all works from that standpoint. But I've always like been passionate about the post-production side of filmmaking, making films in like college times, just doing all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. And I wanted to kind of switch into the more creative roles within that industry. So I managed to kind of transfer to become a compositor about a year in, and then from then I've just been trying my best to make images look as good as they can, doing all different types of stuff, and I love it. Like every single shot you get is different. Every single challenge is a new one, and yeah, it's always been my passion, and I'm fortunate enough to actually now do it as a career.
I appreciate that. Well, good for you. And did you do the same sort of university course as the guys here, or did you come into this with a different approach?
So I did move down to Bournemouth to go to uni and do the VFX course at the university here. But I did it more as a broad film production course rather than kind of specialising in VFX. And about 3 months into that course, I realised like I had a focus, I had a main thing I wanted to specialise in, and that was visual effects. So I tried to transfer to that course. I had to wait till the next academic year. So in the meantime, I was just trying out different companies locally. Did a placement scheme at a motion graphics company, and after a month of doing that, I was fortunate enough that they liked me enough to hire me full time. And from there, I just decided I'm gonna go this route and not do uni. So maybe that makes me a dropout, but it's worked out fairly well, I think.
You're in good company. I dropped out myself as well and went travelling and did all kinds of stuff. There's no right way to make your way in life. And it's clearly worked out for you, and it's led you to us. So when did you first hear about The Price of Freedom as a project, as a concept?
Well, my partner's uncle happens to be Neil, and he obviously really likes his 3D printing. I've just recently got myself a 3D printer, so we've been talking more with things like that, troubleshooting, that kind of thing. And he's shown me a bunch of stuff that he's already made for this project, and then hearing about the project, it sounded pretty exciting. I've always been interested in the visuals of Star Wars. I'm probably not a hardcore fan as such, but it's super cool to me, all aspects of it. So I've always been keen to try that as, in the visual effects space. I've never actually been able to do that. So so yeah, it's quite exciting, I think, to give it all a go.
Are you up to date with the Disney Plus Star Wars? Have you seen Ahsoka and Mandalorian? And
So I've only seen the films, the I guess original 6, and then the newer ones as well. I've not seen any of the TV series yet. I almost feel quite bad because I've started switching around a little bit, but I've always looked negatively on TV. I've always preferred like the film format. I prefer to just have, sit down for 2 or 3 hours, watch a story from beginning to end, and not have to kind of, sit through like 10 1-hour episodes of something. And I like to consume it all in one go rather than having, an episode, you go away from it, you watch the next episode. But to be honest, TV's completely changed now. The budget on it has got so much higher on stuff, so there's some really good stuff out there. So I really should check out.
They're worth checking out. And some of us characters are from some of the existing Star Wars franchise series. But that's all good. But it means you're coming with a fresh perspective, and you're not tainted by anything you might have seen before. You're coming with a sort of a fresh set of eyes, which I think might serve us well. So all good.
Yeah,
and this might be the first. This might be the first of many as well. So this may become a mini series in its own right. So no pressure on that. Then. So you've come on to help steer the VFX team. All recent graduates, all full of talent and full of passion. But you're going to help sort of guide them and help structure. And what are you going to contribute to the team in that way to help educate our audience about what your role is going to be?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do the best I can, really. I think the main things I want to maybe provide knowledge on is just the way in which the structures of the whole VFX pipeline work in the real world, and I think that's going to be quite invaluable to kind of, even on a project of this kind of scale, going through those motions and kind of structuring it just like you would at an actual studio, I think is going to be really valuable to learn. And I'm going to just try my best to kind of teach different ways of maybe achieving certain effects, and just feedbacking in the kind of best way I can. Obviously, I've just learned myself from other professionals much more skilled than myself at the companies I'm at. And because I specialise in compositing, that's going to be the main thing that I can contribute in. But I think throughout the whole aspect of it all, I'm hoping I can kind of show how those pipelines work and how the structures work in a real studio.
From what I've seen so far, it certainly seems you're achieving that goal. And the amount of quality and effort you've put in already is astounding. So on behalf of the production team, I thank you for coming on board and helping us. It's a long road ahead. We feel confident with you with us as well, so thank you for that.
Oh, that's very kind. Yeah, no problem.
So originally when we started making this film, we wanted to film in March and release for May the 4th because we're Star Wars fans, and we since realised that VFX does take time. Post-production is to get it right, you can't rush it. So we decided potentially not to release on May the 4th. But is it possible you can help us get a trailer out from a March shoot date to May the 4th for a trailer? Is that something is possible?
Absolutely. I think May the 4th is a very clear, obvious deadline that we want to show at least something. Looking through the amount of exciting shots there are to work on, we want to put in our all. We want to spend the time to really flesh out and make these shots look good. So it is going to require more time to do that. But I think it's definitely within our capabilities to deliver some of those better shots that we can make look nice for the trailer, have something to be delivered on that date, and then we can spend the time that's needed late after that to kind of finish off the film and make it the best we can.
Lovely. No spoilers in the trailer though, that's all.
No spoilers. So I had a question for everyone. It's always interesting to know in this industry what, if there was a standalone film that got you really interested in VFX. I'll start with that. Like for me, there was a very clear, defined moment when I was a kid watching Jurassic Park.
right all the time.
It's a classic, but I remember having that on DVD, watching it, then watching the bonus scenes and seeing some like guys just like you and me at a computer making those dinosaurs and bringing them to life, and just seeing that I was like, yeah, I want a bit of that. That's what I want to do, and from then I just tried my best to self-teach myself and go from there.
So Steve, you're what's known as a compositor as your speciality. Is that right? Did I?
Yeah.
To my non-educated perspective, VFX, you think big space battles or tornado in Twister or something. But I remember, I think the film was Braveheart or something of that ilk in the 90s, and there were telegraph poles in the background, and they used computers to remove the telegraph poles. I don't know, as an uneducated person, where does VFX end and compositing start? And is what I just described compositing, like, what is your speciality? Because these guys are building 3D models and rigging and stuff. How do you complement their skills as a compositor?
So I think compositing really, in the VFX pipeline, it comes right at the end. It's more the 2D side of things. 3D as a department has so many sub-disciplines. There's just so much to it. So many talented people to start from modeling, texturing, rigging, depending on the kind of character it might be. You'll add groom. You need to light it. There'll be so many aspects of that I'm even forgetting myself. But after all that's been done, when all those people have collaborated, created a 3D scene, asset or anything, you'll then come to compositing, where we just work with 2D plates, 2D individual pieces of footage, compiling all them together, compositing all them together, and we create that final image. So we take what everyone else has done, we tweak all the values, we make it look as realistic as we can for the shot that it'll be in. So a lot of it is quite technical when it comes to compositing, because you're doing a lot of matching artifacts from camera to make that thing look like it was filmed for real on the camera. That's our whole intention. So there's a lot of artifacts around like vignetting of cameras, lens distortion, grain, chromatic aberration, all these things you need to add to these 3D models or 3D scenes to make them look like they were filmed for real. And understanding cameras is really important for that as well. But that's what's so rewarding to me about compositing, is we take everything else and we create that final image, and it is that image that you'll see on screen. But there definitely are aspects of 3D to me that seem really exciting as well. I'm really interested in when people do simulations. It's always really cool to see what they can do in that 3D space. So yeah, that's what compositing is. That's what I specialize in. But there's so many aspects to visual effects.
I have a question then, like hypothetically, just help me understand compositing. If we had a scene on our film and we wanted in the distance some clouds brewing, but some lightning in the distance, all the storms coming, some big dramatic scene, would you be the person we go to and say, can you in the background of this put a cloud with a bit of lightning in the distance and stuff? Is that a you thing or is that a 3D thing? Or?
Yeah, there are some things that that sit on that fine line. It depends what type of shot it is and the quality of which you want that effect. But something like that, if it's going to be in the background, it doesn't really need to be in a 3D world to work. Like, it can just be a simple background effect that essentially just sits in 2D space. It can be like a 2D layer, but right at the back. We can do all that in comp. You can, with comp, we can kind of make anything work. Really, I think that's the whole skill set we should really have, is try and make anything work that you want. So there's always workarounds to stuff, but there are kind of sub-disciplines to it as well. I mean, you've got paint can be a whole department. Depending on the company, you will have a whole department just focusing on paint. You will have a whole department just focusing on roto. So paint work can include anything from wire removal. If you've got like rigs that were filmed on set, or wires to pull people back, somebody will have to sit through that and paint those out. That will all sit in within the paint department. But you also have, you know, having to remove people or remove things in the background. That's all paint as well. The roto department, they will just cut around things, so then you can isolate them in comp, put certain things in front of assets, and have them sit between. So yeah, there's still there is a lot to it.
I might have to find a diagram of all the different aspects of VFX and how they fit, who talks to who and who, like, it's all Greek to me, but I'm here to learn. So are we going to be a pain in your backside if when we're shooting our film and we keep saying, oh, we'll fix it in post, we'll fix it, we need a light there, we didn't have one, we needed a blaster to smoke a little bit, we forgot to do the smoke, is that something that you dread as a compositor, or this is part of the job?
I've got to be honest, at this point it is part of the job. Like there is an understanding that when it comes to pre-production, you plan everything. In an ideal world, that's how it'll all pan out and everything will work perfectly for us. But in the real world, when you've got all these different departments all doing their own thing on set, there's a time constraint. Like things will slip through the cracks, and not everything will be filmed perfectly. So we have to adapt to that, and yeah, there is definitely an aspect of having to fix things in post. But the whole intention is to negate that as much as possible. I think as visual effects artists, everyone will agree that as much as we try our best to make things look realistic, it's always going to be better to make that already in camera if possible. It's not always possible though, so
we'll try and keep it to a minimum and make your life as easy as possible and the team's life as easy as possible. But I do like to film make. I love improv and I love actors having an idea and running with it. So there will be scenes we didn't plan for. They might not end up in the film, but we'll try and make sure they're not films with, let's give everyone a lightsaber, and no, we'll limit that. Don't worry. Well, thanks for joining us today. I'm sorry you couldn't be here in person, but we will definitely try and get some more time with you to let our fans get to know you. Perhaps when there's more to show and share, you can be involved in that as well. But you're a really important part of the team, and we thank you for taking the time with us today.
Sure. No, I'm happy to be here. Glad I could still be here in some kind of spirit. And yeah, really excited about the project. It'll be great to actually start meeting you all in person.
Cheers, Steve. Well, thank you so much for staying to the end. Really good to get to know Steve and the guys, and there's plenty more from this interview to come. We've got games to play, we've got their love of Star Wars, we've got a few spoilers video. It's going to be amazing. Stay tuned. Do follow us on Instagram, do follow us on Twitter, follow, like, subscribe down below, wherever you're watching this. All the support means the world to us. The more people that share, the more we can get this film out to as many people as possible, and that's all we want. We just want to share our vision with the Star Wars community. All right, thanks very much. I'll see you in the next one.